Shanti, Shanti. So we have been discussing about the three gunas and as they apply to every aspect of our life. And today we are going to continue to do the Tamasic, Rajasic, and Sattvic actor. Right? So what is the Sattvic actor? He doesn't have a sense of ego. And this sounds to us like very boring stuff. But actually, ego is detrimental to us. Ego is detrimental to us means that the more we give ourselves importance in something, the worse that thing is going to be. You know, in the world today, we are actually encouraging the ego. We are actually saying, okay, so what are your career plans? How do you see yourself 5 years from today? We are sort of encouraging people to emphasize the ego, to emphasize their own importance. What do you want? What do you like? We emphasize it. Now, when we emphasize it, there's also the other side where we emphasize it by rejecting it. That's also not correct. Like one common thing people do, especially in India at least, this concept is not there that love is support. This concept is simply not there. That if you love somebody, why don't you let them do what they want instead of making them do what you want? So, it's sort of a tough thing to understand what is ego. So we have to understand about ego, what actually is wrong about it. I don't know if I mentioned last time about, did I tell you about the time when Vedanta Academy was built and money ran out? It was being built, the construction was on and the money ran out. Did I tell you about that? No? Okay, so once it so happened that Swamiji was building the academy, it was in the early years, and the money was really over. You know how when you do car construction and then some, as you go, I mean, the money just goes like water, which we are now going to find out. But it goes like water and it got over and there was nothing left. And one man told him, oh, your work is stopping. That's really sad. I will give you the entire amount to finish it. Which sounded very good. And he actually sent the check. He sent the check. He said, I heard that the work is stopping, and he sent the check. And he said, but Swamiji, I have only one request, that you make that building, finish it, and say that in the memory of my mother, so-and-so. So Swamiji put the check back into the envelope and sent it back to him. And the work really stopped because he ran out of funds. Now, of course, I know this incident, and he never explained it or told us why he did that at that time, I was of the view and opinion that that's crazy. The work is stopped. We need the money to finish building the place. No? And of course, because it's your guru, you don't say anything, but it stayed with me for many, many years. How? Why? Just put a little plaque over there saying it's the memory of somebody. How does that even matter? And he never explained it. He never said anything. All he did was he returned the check. And now, in retrospect, if you think about that incident, we could think of it like that, no? That surely it doesn't matter. We were working for a good cause. We were working for a noble cause. Somebody just wants a little plaque there. What is the problem in putting that? After all, he is giving the money. So why can't he have his wish in such a small thing? We can argue like that. Probably will be, I don't know if we'll be right or wrong. Definitely, I also thought that way at that time. And I said, yeah, I mean, like, he's giving a fairly substantial amount of money. So in respect of that money, surely we can do that much for him. After all, money is not like, it doesn't fall from the high heavens. People give you that hard-earned money, isn't it? You must respect that money. And also we are doing it for a good cause, so we can do that little bit. You know, the means is not so important. So what if you have to put the name? He at that time, of course, he made a joke of it, and he said, "Oh, I'm building an academy. I'm not building a graveyard here with all the tombstones." So he just sort of dismissed it. But now think about it. Surely we have to respect the fact that a man is giving us his hard-earned money, right? We should respect that and therefore respect his wishes. So what is so bad in putting this thing that it is in the memory of my mother or whatever he wants to say? What's so bad in that? Now, I don't know what Swamiji's logic was, but here's what at the moment seems like a possible explanation. Either you think a person having an ego is a good thing or a bad thing. Right? Either you believe that having an ego is fine, or you believe there is something wrong with emphasizing the ego. If you believe that there is something wrong with emphasizing the ego, such as we naturally would believe, somebody is giving us his hard-earned money. Somebody is doing us a favor, as it were. Someone is doing good for us. Then would we want to damage that person? Would we want to do something for him that is not good for him? Wouldn't that be really ungrateful of us? So why would we want to do anything to encourage somebody's ego? We won't do that. This ego is something that can really wreck a person's life. If you stop and think about it for even a little while, you will realize how your attitude in your own life, wherever you have found failure, you will find that emphasizing yourself, emphasizing your own importance is what has led to that. Wherever you have found failure, wherever you have found discomfort, even discomfort, of course, unhappiness. Think about it. Think of these examples. Think of things in your life that really trouble you. And you find the ego there. What does the ego do? It says how important I am. This is a very natural thing for children to have. Children have a very strong sense of ego in the sense that if you see an infant, okay, the infant, if he's hungry, what will he do? He'll he'll do. If he's messed his diaper, he doesn't stop to think that my poor mother, she may be tired, whole day she was looking after me. If he's hungry or he's dirty, he's gonna scream. He doesn't think my poor dad was working all day in office. Now, why am I waking them up? The child cannot think these thoughts. Therefore, we don't say he's egoistic. We never look at an infant and say what an egoistical being. But the fact is he is. His needs are paramount. And if they are not met, he's going to scream the place down. This is natural for a child. An adult human being is a person who has got rid of that. This is hurting me. So therefore, you have to stop whatever you're doing. To have this self-centeredness, it's such a strong word, really. It's such a strong word, but it's really only innocence or ignorance. We just have not expanded the vision to realize that there is so much more here than me. So it's more like an innocent sort of thing that we do. It's not like we mean to be mean and we mean to be horrible. Nothing like that. It is very innocently we behave like this. And when you start just recognizing there are other people around, these other people have their desires just as I have mine. And everybody wants whatever they want, just as I want whatever I want. And just as there is no explanation why I want whatever I want, there's no explanation why they want whatever they want. I mean, many people told me for many years, but why do you want to do this? Like, what are you getting out of it? Well, I want what I want. And you want what you want. So what is there to, how can we run everybody else down who wants something different from what we want? This capacity in us to understand that there are other individuals here is what is absence of ego. And that's what the Sattvic actor has. He understands that. He understands that there are other people here. I'm not alone. There are not only other people here, there are other beings here, there are situations, there are circumstances. And when you're able to see that whole picture, that is absence of ego. Naim, what is the difference between self-regard and ego? Self-regard and ego are opposite. Ego says, I am very important. Ego says, I am the most important. Ego manifests in two ways. I am most important whenever I think, of myself so much. It expresses itself as either I am better than you, which we call superiority complex, or it expresses as I am worse than you. But they are both ego states because my whole attention is on myself. Like some people, they are, when they're a celebrity, a famous person, a glamorous person. Some people make their way to that person because they want to be seen with the cream of the crowd sort of thing. And some people go away from that person because they say, I don't want to do this, or he won't talk to me, or I'm too small to talk to him. Both these are ego. Self-regard is the opposite of this. You understand your place in this whole thing. You understand your own place in the whole scheme of affairs. You don't highlight it, you don't underlight it. I don't know if there's such a word as underlight, but you don't highlight it, you don't overemphasize it, you don't underemphasize it. Because underemphasizing is as much ego. Why don't you see things for what they are? Is that helpful? Ryan, you're okay?
Like in a situation, Janki, instead of the child, expressing its needs, what if an adult is also in, say he's in a group, but he's uncomfortable with something and he has needs. So if he expresses his need to excuse himself from the group because he wants to, because he's, let's say he's very shy, and he wants to excuse himself from the group to just take a while for himself and recharge and get in touch with his emotions. So is he being egoistic, or is he having self-regard? If he thinks about himself.
No, why? That has got nothing to do with it. Think about it like this. Think about it as you are dealing with some equipment. Okay? Just any equipment. I don't know, a fridge or a washing machine, any equipment. Now, a fridge has its nature. The washing machine has its nature. You don't exchange the natures, right? You know that with a fridge, this kind of maintenance is required. With a washing machine, this kind of maintenance is required. This is all clear. So here is a shy person who doesn't like to associate many long hours with people. And so the right thing for this person is to not associate. What's ego got to do with it? It's just the way that equipment is, isn't it?
Like the others would feel like he's avoiding them and he's just concerned about himself. He's not being courteous to others.
No, not at all. There are always courteous ways of doing things, and there are rude ways of doing things. The courteous way of doing it is saying, sorry, I need a time out, I'm off. Don't say, depends on who you're talking to, of course. But you can always excuse yourself and say, I'm sorry, I need a little rest now, or whatever. But please continue, have a good time. I will join you all in some time, whatever. Just think about it. Suppose there is, as you know, I live in a family. I'm not a brahmachari. I live in a family. So in this family, all sorts of things will go on. There'll be people are born, people are getting married, and all sorts of stuff is going on, right? So now I have class time. So I have to excuse myself and go and attend to my class. So nobody takes it as rude. Why would they? And that's what I have to do. That's my job. Oh, that's what I choose to do. So that's fine. My husband, on the other hand, he's a very quiet person and he can only take a certain amount of interaction with other human beings. In fact, his brother can take even less. His brother is extremely quiet. So quiet that once one man said, he's so quiet and he speaks very, very softly too. So once one man told his wife, which has become a big joke now, once a man told his wife, I don't know, Barjor Bhai Suka. I don't know whether what Barjor Bhai said. I not only don't know what he said, I don't even know whether he said anything. Because he speaks so quietly that you can't even hear him half the time. But everybody loves him. Everybody thinks he's a very nice person. Nobody thinks he's discourteous. Everybody says, okay, fine. He's a very quiet person and he hardly talks. And that's that. So why would anyone take it negatively unless you have portrayed it in some manner negatively, or that person has, some problems of their own, in which case now we can't handle everybody's problems, right? We can be sensitive to them, but if I don't know. Okay, so two options. Either you have represented whatever you want in an untactful way, or two, the other person is so strong in their own desires that they cannot understand what you want. So you have to figure that out. All that is the hard work of having to live with human beings. Human beings are complicated people. And to figure this out now, what did I do? Did I not express it tactfully? Or is this about that person and nothing at all to do with me? This is what you have to figure out.
Janki, two words come to mind. I don't know whether I'm just seeking clarification, whether this is the right way to look at it. One is consciously, one is compulsively. So it seems like when it's an ego, it's more compulsive. You consider yourself irrespective of the environment. But when it's self-regard, you're more conscious and you take into consideration the environment. So self-regard is conscious and ego is compulsive. That's what's coming to my mind right now.
If that helps you, fine, but I wouldn't completely buy it, because can a person who's very egoistic, very self-centered, not do things very consciously? I mean, he knows what he's doing, right? That's what we studied, aggressive bad. He knows what he's doing, and he chooses to do that. So I would actually use that term, but it's more about, ego is more about looking at it. What are you giving importance to? Are you giving importance to yourself above everybody, in the sense that there are two ways you do this. Either you don't even recognize they exist, like the child. He is screaming. He doesn't recognize anything or anybody exists. Or having recognized they exist, you compare yourself to them. Either run over them or allow them to run over you. So it is, where is your focus more than anything? What are you finding important over here? Finding yourself important is different from understanding yourself. Is that clear? Like, understanding yourself means understanding this equipment is like this, Baba, this is how it will function. Is different from saying this way of functioning is right, this way is important, and this is the only way it should be. Am I helping the situation? Making any sense?
I still have some doubts, but I'll let it be. Thank you.
Okay.
Janki ji. Yep. Going back to earlier point made by Naeem, that when other people's strong desires are interrupted, so one would have to settle for that inevitable bit of friction, right, which will arise out of it.
Yeah. Settle means you don't settle for it as in tolerate, but you absolutely understand. I don't know what there is about acceptance. I don't like to use these words because they're so misunderstood. But what is about saying that, I know this guy's going to get mad at me, and really not getting affected by this? And you literally in your heart, you're not affected. Not showing that you're not affected, but literally you understand that other person, you understand why that person is affected, and you can't help being amused by that, because it's, and that kind of taking it lightly, the other person also gives up on you. I mean, gives up on you means this, somehow they don't seem to hold something against you anymore, even though you continue to irritate them because they don't like you doing that particular thing.
Gee. Okay, thank you.
Janki, is it got to do with, the assessing the persons, assessing the environment, and then acting accordingly, right? That's what we have, emphasis is there, right? That, we have to assess the environment, assess the people around us, and then respond accordingly.
Yes, with a sense of love and affection. That is the two things we all need in life. We need to have the intellectual objectivity and the emotional oneness. Once you have these two things, you are good for every circumstance and situation. But both seem to disappear at the drop of a hat. So, the Sattvic actor. Deepika, you're trying to say something?
I wanted you to repeat that last line. It was very important, ma'am.
I always say this, but I always forget what is the last line. I can tell you the point again. The two things we need in life are
emotional oneness and something else you said.
Objectivity.
Okay, thank you so much.
You have these two things, you go anywhere in the world, you will be on top of your game.
Janki ji, I wanted to ask something. is it that the person who acts correctly has courage of conviction? So from experience, they have learned how to be, how to respond. So it is just basically a courage of conviction through that experience.
You all can change the words to suit you all, but the principle must be clear that when you are not seeing yourself as the fulcrum of everything, and you're able to see the whole picture, including yourself, you're part of that picture, right? And it's not even that you're seeing yourself, you're understanding this equipment functions in this manner. So you are as objective towards your own functioning as you are to anybody else's, and you are as, what shall I say, accepting or loving of yourself and of others. There's no difference in this thing. So if you'd like to change it to courage of conviction, sure, but as long as the principle is clear. It is better for us in the class to all of us use the same language, because then it becomes easier to communicate with each other. So we will use the language that says, I don't consider myself the focus of this whole thing. And that gives me both the objectivity as well as the emotional oneness.
True.
So when you are like that, when you're not egoistic and you're free of attachment, attachment means what? That you have fixed your attention on something in particular in such a way that you cannot see anything else. You can only see that thing. Those who have fixed their attention on money like that can only see money. Those who fix their attention on good looks can only see good looks. Those who fix their attention on their temple only see their temple. So each one of us somehow start getting attached to one or more things in life. Maybe to a child, maybe to a memory. Some people are very fixed on that memory. No matter what happens in their life, all it does is reminds them of that thing. Anything. You can be talking of any subject on the surface of this earth, and they will find reason to go back to that topic. Vedantins, who are not fully mature, can use any topic on the surface of this earth to give a lecture on Vedanta. That is why many people don't like to deal with us, because they say, "Acha, chal shuru ho gaya iska." But who asked you your philosophical views? We are discussing something else. You start take off on your philosophical views, and then slowly you find everybody just leaving the room. Naeem will be the first to leave, because he will say, "Oh my God, ye log zyada bolne lage." He will go away. So that's older people also have this problem. They are stuck on trying to tell you something, and whether you want to listen to it or not, both of bolte hi rahenge. So everybody has just escaped like the snows of yesteryear. They've all disappeared, because I don't know, I can't say anything to him also, or bed bhi nahi sakte. All just disappeared. So attachment is elders torture with their wisdom. Yes, everybody gets focused on the one thing, and baap re, if you manage to go anywhere near that one thing, to kayamat hai. Can't deal with that person anymore after that. So Swamiji was very, very particular that yes, Naeem, or lack of it. The Swamiji was very particular, he would see that people are discussing Vedanta in the dining hall and all that. And he was very particular that you shouldn't be doing that. You are so interested in Vedanta, go to your room and study. Why are you chatting about it? And it's not a gossip session to be chatting about it in the dining room. And he used to say, then slowly you all will be all sitting under the trees and just chatting away, gossiping, and thinking that you all are doing Vedanta, thinking that you all are doing something spiritual. Spirituality is not all these stuff that you speak. So he had actually been very discouraging of this conversation. And once you're in the world and you find other people, you realize why it was so discouraged. Because it seemed to us at that time, like, come on, we're talking about Vedanta, we're not talking about anything else. So naturally, we will get more interested in Vedanta by talking more about it. No, you'd only get more egoistical. You don't have to keep chatting about it. So, it's very interesting how the mind can get attached to something, anything. And then all your life will revolve around that thing, whatever you're attached to. So obviously then you're going away from sattva, because sattva means you're able to see the whole picture. So either out of ego or out of attachment, it's gone. Life is only gone. Because you can't see life. You're not even alive actually, because you can't see any part of life. You can only see either how important you are or this one thing that you're attached to. So a lot of the time, that is what generates the action. So I'm so attached to it, therefore I'm doing it. So in technical terms, you start functioning on likes and dislikes. Now, if you don't do either of these things, you get a superb result. And what is that result?
Objectivity.
What's the result?
Peace of mind.
Okay, what's the result? He told us what is the result. What happened? Nobody read this
Balance
one
of mind.
paragraph you had to read in
Balance
one
of-
week. Huh?
Balance of mind.
Oh, he'll be energetic and also be cheerful and joyful while doing the action.
Yes. So what will he have? He will have Dhriti and Utsaha. Dhriti, he will become steadfast in whatever he is doing. Why can't we be steadfast in whatever we are doing? Think about what makes us lose consistency. What is it that makes us lose consistency? Somebody says, I'm doing something. Okay. Now, why would I stop doing it? Because somebody told me, I'm not good enough. Or I'm met with failure. Now, why does somebody saying it's not good enough or me meeting with failure matter to me?
Because I'm egoistic.
It has hurt my ego.
I'm egoistic.
Number one, or
Focus is on the result.
I don't believe in myself.
what are you people doing? Nobody is listening. I think either
Or
you guys
attached.
have the
Attachment?
Huh?
No attachment?
no attachment, no attachment. So either out of ego or out of attachment, these things, two things will matter to me. That you are saying I'm not good enough somehow at whatever I'm doing. So what if I'm not good enough? How does that matter? What are my options? Okay, maybe let's say I teach Vedanta and I'm not very good at it. But what are my options? What am I going to do if I don't teach Vedanta? I have nothing else to do in this world. Ye karungi ya kuch nahi karungi. So rather than doing nothing, I will rather do this. Now, if I'm not as good as the next teacher, well, main kya karu? Now, this is what it is. Right? So how does it matter if someone says it's not good? Because good or not good, this is what I'm doing. Or secondly, I'm so attached to some result. Oh, my students, they don't learn anything. I try so hard. कुछ नहीं हो रहा है. हमारी यूनिवर्सिटी भी नहीं शुरू हो रही है. कहाँ से 3 करोड़ रुपए आने वाले हैं? Not 3 करोड़, 50 करोड़. Think about it and worry a bit. To get this whole thing going, it's going to cost 50 crores. Now, where is this 50 crores coming from? अभी तक बैंक अकाउंट भी शुरू नहीं हुआ है. And our dreams are of setting up. Oh, by the way, just to tell you a little of the gossip, we are now a registered institution. We have managed to get our registration certificate from the charity commissioner, and we really deserve a party for this. We have to celebrate every step of the way because we have a long, long journey ahead of us. So we should have a major celebration for having got our registration certificate. That will enable us to start a bank account, which will start in a few days now. But why would we stop doing either A, because somebody tells us we are not doing it good enough, or B, it's too long a journey and failure is a very, very, what should I say, probable result of our journey. So we'll stop. So why will that stop us? Because either I'm being egoistic or I'm being attached. But if I don't have these two things, किसी को जोक बोलना है बोलो भाई, किसी को सपोर्ट नहीं करना है करो मत, ये काम तो चलता रहेगा. That's dhriti, right? And utsaha, because we are having a great time doing it. I don't know about whether Mahesh is having a great time and Bharat is having a great time. But all of it, Meera is setting up the website. Anybody who knows anything about making the website better, please get in touch with her. Mahesh has been working enough to be screaming because yes, you know, all the writing has to be done and we have to sit and work on it together. And as you know, most of the time I can't sit, so issue with that and all this sort of stuff going on. But गीत लोग हैं, करते रहेंगे, होगा कि नहीं होगा भगवान जाने, करते रहेंगे. So when you try to function in this world without the ego or without getting attached to something, the natural consequence is that there will be some enthusiasm for what you're doing. And this enthusiasm is simply not interrupted by other people's lack of enthusiasm. How does it matter? When you say it in class, it doesn't matter if anyone says good or bad about you. Say, oh, I know that, but how do you practice it? How do you practice it? He's told you. If you have an ego, then what people say about you will matter. If you are attached, your success and failure will matter. Therefore, in the case of the Rajasic actor, it all matters. And since it all matters, he has to put in tremendous effort. Yeah, Kanika.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask, with like what you said, that it should not matter what people think, and you have dhiti and joy when you're doing something and stability. But surely encouragement from somebody makes a difference. But should someone indulge in that encouragement? Because it takes you have to be in a very different realm of life or realization of life or evolved person to be in that situation where, okay, nothing matters, I don't care, I'm going to do what I have to do. But there are two things. One is, it's nice to be encouraged, but should somebody indulge in that, or should we really yearn for that? Second thing, if you start saying that, oh, it doesn't matter what you think of it, I'm just going to do it with happiness and with stability and whatever, there's also a certain amount of detachment which upsets other people who are close to you, and they probably will not understand because they are not in that realm, or they're not so evolved, or they don't. I'm not saying evolved means something like some egoistic statement, but I'm saying there are some people who have reached that level where they can think like that. There are some people who don't understand that level. Then how do you maintain the balance? Because there are people who, because of their own insecurity, start wondering, oh God, you're changing, you're not interested, you don't care what I feel, that kind of thing. So I just wanted some little clarity on that, if it's possible.
Firstly, every one of us is made up of sattva, rajas, and tamas. All of us have this combination. So some part of our personality, we will behave like a sattvic actor. Some part of our personality, we will behave like a rajasic actor. So this is a given. Until I'm able to increase my sattvic content, people's praise and lack of it will bother me. This is a given. Now, if I want to increase my sattvic content, I must figure out what is the right thing and do it regardless of what they say. It is my job to figure out what is right for me. If somebody encourages me, I am very grateful because thank God you helped my rajas. If they don't encourage me, I bring my sattva and I say, okay, Baba, he's not encouraging, but it is still the right thing for me to do. So I have to play with my own personality. That people should not be the determiner of whether I continue my journey or not. Okay? Because that's not what I want. But if they do something that's encouraging to me, that's super because that will give my rajas, motivation. Very good. Use it. But if they discourage me, then bring your sattva. Baba, I am not dealing with this. I'm going to do the right thing anyway. Now, if other people are, so that's first part. Second part is if other people are sort of, not able to understand them, then you must be Krishna. Krishna is the kind of person who, if he thinks you need him to cry, he will cry. If he thinks you need him to laugh, he will laugh. He will pick up the what is that wheel he picked up, right? Like, you don't kill Karna, I will do it myself, and I will break my vow because you were not going to do it. And then Arjuna will get terrified and say, no, I'll do whatever you say, I'll do whatever you say. And then he raises this thing. So when you're dealing with people and you understand them, then you deal with them the way their equipment requires. That's why Krishna is considered to be a master's a strategist on the whole, but a master in human relations. Anybody who met him loved him, except for some notable examples. The wide majority of people are just crazy about him, not only when he was alive, even today they're crazy about him, because everything about him appears so attractive. So why is that? Because he dealt with you as you were, not as he was. So you deal with other people as they are. When other people deal with you, you stick to your path.
Thank you. Got it.
So we did Rajasic. Did we do Rajasic or not?
Yes, now Tamasic actor.
Now Tamasic, right? So Rajasic is just the opposite of our Sattvic fellow. He is all attached, he's all egoistical, so he's going up, he's going down. किसी ने अच्छा बोला, so he's on to the top. किसी ने बुरा बोला, तो नीचे गया. If he got success, वो अपने आप को बड़ा ही होशियार समझता है कि मैं कौन हूँ, देखो. And if he gets failure, then he will say, oh, क्या हो गया, भगवान मेरे against क्यों है? But when you were getting success, you didn't say, भगवान मुझे क्यों दे रहा है? But when you got failure, then you say, oh, see, God is so bad. Or some blame is put on somebody or something. So because he's constantly buffeted like that, it's very difficult for him to achieve anything. Everybody's everything starts affecting. Now, what is the Tamasic actor like? Who will read? Who's reading this?
I will.
No, please do.
Tamasic actor has no deal in life. As a result, he lacks steadfastness in pursuing any cause of action. Bereft of culture and refinement, he is vulgar in thought, word, and deed. He is stubborn, obstinately attached to his way of life, deceptive and misleading, malicious in dealing with others, lethargic and indifferent towards his obligatory duty and responsibility, remains ever despondent and depressed in life, and procrastinates, puts off actions without completing them. Tamasic actor is not steadfast, unenthusiastic to work, and unenthusiastic to work and obligatory duties and responsibilities, attached to worldly desires, maliciousness in dealing with people, inconsistency in completing work. Consequently, a Tamasic actor procrastinates and is forever depressed.
Okay, so let's go through the list again. First one is he has no ideal. Okay. So therefore, obviously, he cannot be steadfast in pursuing it. Yeah. Thirdly, he is vulgar in thought, word, and deed. Fourthly, he's very stubborn to everything. He's largely deceptive, liar, like that. He is very lethargic towards his duties. And he is despondent and depressed in life. It's always negative. So, what do we do when we are a Tamasic actor? There is no idea in that. There is nothing in particular for us to pursue. Why not? Because we're too lethargic to have thought of anything that is worth doing. And do it. And also very negative about it. A Tamasic person is very negative. He always says, "Ho nahi sakta." You know, so if you say, we are trying to set up Vedanta University. First thing, oh no, one man I called up for funds. I was thinking that he's pretty well placed in life. Maybe I should request him if he wants to support it in any way. And of course, he didn't say hoega nahi, but short of saying that, he said everything that he say, "Arey Bambre, better not to speak to this gentleman only. कैसे हो सकता है ये और वो और ये." So it was so depressing talking to him. So it was this is nature of tamas. Versus imagine somebody saying, "Oh my God, this is a great idea. Why don't we see what we can do?" Another person said, "Okay, this is such a great idea." What a beautiful attitude he had. He said, "Oh, this is such a great idea. Can I help you with making the costing of it?" And I said, "Yeah, of course, please do." And then he worked out so nicely for us. Everything worked out for us that this is how much this will be, this one. Now we have a full costing sheet. We know by when this institution can have become self-sustaining, because how much donation can you go on raising for the rest of your life? You can't do it, right? At some point, that's to stop. So what point will this be stopping at? And he worked it out so beautifully for us. Instead of saying, no, it can't be done, he put the numbers down to see how it will be done. That's the difference between a Tamasic actor and somebody who says, okay, let's just give it a try. Let's see whether this is a workable deal at all. Can it be sustaining in any way or manner? That's the big difference between people who are enthusiastic. I hate to say this because it makes us all racist. But if you tell anything to a North Indian, he will be very interested in saying, okay, let's go for it. Let's see what we can do. Chalo, dekhte hain. You tell something to a South Indian, then they will start. Obviously, this is the problem. This is the problem. This is the problem. And even if you tell somebody in Delhi, I need you to come to, suppose you're in Lonavala, and you say, oh my God, we got this work to do in Bombay. So you tell that to a North Indian, you say, okay, chalo, let's just drive down, we do our work and we come back. Tell that to a South Indian, say, Bombay, you want to go to Bombay? From here, in 2 hours we'll have to drive. Start like that. So it is that nature, which it sort of propels you into activity or not. So a Sattvic, Tamasic person is always very negative about, I won't say Tamasic person, the Tamasic trait of a Tamasic actor is very negative. Hear it for the first time and hear something negative. नहीं हो सकता. Oh my God, इतना time लगेगा, इतना ये लगेगा, वो नहीं होगा, वो support नहीं करेगा, ये नहीं होगा, government का ये something is that. Very negative to begin. That's why they never get down to doing anything. Because the moment you tell them something, they'll think of 20 reasons why you shouldn't do it. So this person can't have an ideal. How does he have an ideal? That aspect, please, we're not talking about individuals here. We're talking about that aspect of our personality, where you're always seeing something negative. Therefore, you always procrastinate. Aaj nahi, kal karenge. Aaj nahi, kal karenge. Always putting it off. So it's a good question to ask ourselves. So how many emails do I currently have that I have not answered? How many WhatsApp messages do I have that I have not answered? How many calls, missed calls do I have that I have not returned? I'm proud of few things, but one of the things that I am proud of is the fact that our team will get back to you immediately. I hope that's really working and you get a response from our team, but mostly, in spite of all the hard work they're all doing, they give you a response immediately. And I'm proud of that. It's a really good thing that you will get a response from whoever it is that you have addressed. I hope you're getting it.
Janki, I have a question. Is it possible that a Tamasic actor can be very hardworking, but refuses to use his mind, like a worker who's just lifting up bricks and carrying them, wants to continue doing that, doesn't want to think about installing a conveyor belt or something that will make his task easier, but just wants to keep doing what he's doing without using his intellect, just the body and physical hard work. Can that be Tamasic?
Yes, of course. Because that will come under the quality of being stubborn. You're stuck to your particular way. You just can't hear anybody else tell you anything else.
Thank you.
Yes, Momita, Miss Havisham is a great example of a Tamasic actor. Completely stuck and cannot move her at all. So let's see. Then the other quality of a Tamasic actor is the lack of culture and refinement, a vulgarity about that person. For those who are in Mumbai, or well, let's not say that. It's always difficult to talk about any particular group, but it was some people who cannot speak a single sentence without putting some colorful language into it. And that's how they speak. And I remember one gentleman telling me, I feel very uncomfortable with you because, you don't speak like us. I'm sorry, I can't do that. So he actually said, I've decided I'm going to train you to use the proper words and the right language. How can you be like this? To them, it just seems right. Versus some people who say, you can say whatever you want to anybody. And you don't need to use a single bad word. And if you see the insults that great men have given to each other, you will see how beautifully they do it. They say the worst things about each other, and no bad language. They're insulting you, but they'll do it so beautifully that you can't help appreciating. So there was, I think we put this in some book, Lady Astor and Winston Churchill. So Lady Astor got fed up and angry with Winston Churchill one day, and she said, Winston, if I was your wife, I'd put poison in your tea. So Churchill said to her, Lady Astor, if I was your husband, I would drink it. So he said such a good thing to her. But it has stayed, like it's a literary piece. Or I think Shaw had this exchange with somebody. He sent him tickets to a play, and he said, I'm sending you 2 tickets. Shaw wrote to him, I'm sending you 2 tickets. So if you have, please do come. I'm sending you 2 tickets. If you have a friend, please bring a friend if you have one. How rudely he spoke to him, right? So then this chap answered. He said, thank you very much for the tickets. I'm afraid I cannot attend this evening, but I will come to the next show if you have one. So they can knock each other down off base, but they don't have to use bad language to do it. A Tamasic actor cannot do anything with refinement. If he eats also now, you say, "Arey baap re, ye kaise kha raha hai?" So he can't do things with refinement, neither speak. Some people, it's so easy for them to use bad language. It just comes to them. It's like a comma for them. A comma and a full stop. They use language. So a Tamasic actor is bereft of culture and refinement. Sometimes the nicest things people do are the things that they don't do. You say something negative or wrong or incorrect to a person of refinement. His silence is his refinement. So it's lovely to be around people who are this cultured and refined. And I guess one of the great advantages of being associated with Vedanta is always that you get to meet people like that. So gentlemanly and so fine in their ways. So what else? What other? He has no goal. He has no ideal. So obviously cannot have any kind of steadfastness. He puts things off. He's lethargic. He's indifferent, obviously, and he's vulgar in what he does. And he is a liar. He's a liar means very deceptive. A liar doesn't necessarily mean that he tells you a lie, but he's very deceptive. Like he'll pretend to do or be something that he is not. The Tamasic aspect. Now, he is a rather negative person, okay, and is depressed and despondent. Now, please compare this to the Rajasic person who is depressed and despondent because he's failing. They're 2 different things. The Tamasic guy is like that. That is his nature. It has nothing to do with failure. The Rajasic guy is doing it because he's failing. Second thing you need to compare is that lying and deceptiveness of tamas is very different from the same lying and deceptiveness of rajas. It is like you go to the charity commissioner's office. If you're a Rajasic person, you will try to do it without doing any form of bribery. But if you come to a point where he's not listening to you and he definitely needs a bribe, then you give the bribe. But if you're a Tamasic person, you will start only, ye kaam nahi karenge, bribe ke bina, so you'll start like that. So the negative behavior of a Tamasic person is how he starts, how he is. The negative behavior of the Rajasic person is what he does when he meets failure. So please distinguish between these two. So it is not really what they do that determines their tamas, rajas, sattva, but what are they doing it for? What's going on in their mind when they do it? Okay. So Mr. Srinivasan this is about the 3 kartas. Now Mr. Srinivasan has something to say. The 90-day Brahma Muhurtam sadhana is getting completed in a few days. It is a good time. Kindly have statistics. 35 persons in the group, yes, posted by around 12 persons. And that fluctuates. Okay. So, as you know, everybody has attempted to get up in the morning and found it difficult to do so. So, Mr. Srinivasan started a support group to do this. It was a great idea. If you felt that this was useful to you, then and you would like to continue it, then you can continue the group. Or those who didn't do it but would like to do it can get in touch with Mr. Srinivasan. If you have found it useful, please say so that we know whether it works, and we can tell the others that do it and it works. So as far as I can see, 12 people are finding it useful since they are posting. If you've not found it useful, then tell us why you didn't find it useful, so that we can maybe make any adjustments that we find useful for that. Okay, so please get in touch with Mr. Srinivasan. If you don't have his number, then you can get the number from Bharat. Is it okay to put your number on the group, Mr. Srinivasan? I can't hear you, you're muted. But whatever, you figure out to it, okay, here. So he's put the number, and so you can decide whatever you want. Whatever works, please do it. We are concerned with it works or not. So if it works, do it. If it doesn't work, we'll think of another method. Okay, so
Thank you, Janki.
that's it for today. Hari Om.
Hari Om Janki. Thank you.
Hari Om Janki.
Janki ji.
Thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji, thank you.
Hari Om Janki ji, thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om Janki ji.
Hari Om. Hari Om Janki.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Hari Om
Janki ji, thank you.
Hari Om Janki.
Sorry, I was just writing the number down. Hari Om Janki. Thank you so much.